Hello, it's Tina Lorraine, your purpose-driven life coach. Here I am. I'm on 30-day challenge. Here we go. So I'm going to, I've been on this mission to keep these things brief because you'll be seeing me so much. So I'm going to jump right in and go ahead and start. I hope your day is going well. I hope your holiday week is going well. I hope everything is going well. I hope you're happy and healthy, and I just wish the best for you. I really do. I love you guys. You're so important to me. So I'm going to jump right in. Prayerfully, everybody will catch it on the replay because I'm trying to keep them short so you guys don't get tired of looking at me. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start out by reading this quote. This, by the way, well, you'll get what it is. Let me read this quote. Successful men aren't motivated by a woman's income, degrees, or by her success. What's important to them is her domestic skills, her figure, her sexual adventurousness, and her ability and her availability. And furthermore, her willingness to accept a certain degree of philandering for the professional woman, period. For the professional woman who is busy, demands monogamy, and puts her family first, much respect is given to her. But she will rarely be the first choice of the men who she is most compatible with intellectually and financially. Now, I know we're not doing a Facebook Live, and I'm not trying to go deep with this, guys. This is just a question that I was thinking about as I was reading this. There's a lot to this quote, and I'll probably post it. Maybe I'll post it today, or maybe I'll just wait till next week because this actually has to do with our live next week. And that quote was by Michael Beisden. He's like an entertainment, successful businessman who, I don't know, you might have heard of him. He has a group. He's called Michael Beisden Live. And he comes on and talks about various things. Usually has to do with relationships. And his net worth is about $5 million. So this question, the question I'm posing to you is, are the lines of being feminine and masculine, is there an art to it, or are they starting to be blurred, or are we just confused these days? What's feminine, what's masculine? Especially, when you're interacting with men or women in the dating arena, because, I'm going to kind of keep it within the context of what we discuss on Wednesdays. So I started thinking about this on different levels, and these are just things that you can be thinking about for next week's live. And so I asked this question: is having money part of being a provider for a man? Is having money to a female part of being a provider? And is being a provider a masculine quality when so many women are able to provide and have to provide these days for their family? So now, what is the new tradition? What makes a man masculine these days? And to flip the coin, what makes a female feminine these days? Because truly, traditions are really thrown out these days because modern independent woman, right? Things are not traditional as they used to be, where these roles were pretty much defined by society, that a man does this and a woman does this. Now it's all blurry, and so then you get men who are what they call high value men, who to some extent are saying, and I keep hearing this across the board, guys, and I'm not one to generalize. I don't generalize. But hi, Sahid, I think that's how you say it. I hope I said it right. I'm not one to generalize, but across the board, I keep hearing from men who, make six figures, that when they're kind of really there's some truth to what Michael Bison was saying. They don't seem to be really motivated by a woman's ability to provide an income, her education, or by her success. And, you know, as a woman, that kind of treads on toes a little bit. I could see where it would tread on toes, especially when you might be following your dreams and you're doing the things that God has put before you, and you're following your purpose. And in that purpose is going to include financial success, is going to include ambition, is going to include a career to some extent. So then I started just thinking about, you know, is there an art to being feminine and masculine, or are we just confused now? Is the man being able to foot the bill on a date, is that still considered a masculine thing to do? Does it ignite or spark that femininity in a woman when he does that these days? Or does she feel better if she's able to pay for it and be in control of the date and all that? I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong. I'm just posing some things to you. So, you know, when we think about these traditional roles that a man, you know, has for being a protector and to being strong and having a plan and having leadership skills, what exactly does leadership look like these days when women or men are both equal in God's eyes, have always been, but now more so to the point where, you know, women are like demanding that you treat me as an equal because I am an equal. So then what does leadership look like? What does, I know, you know, we do get women who say a man has to have the ability to lead, that's masculine, but really, spiritually speaking, the only time leadership or being submissive was ever mentioned was like in a marriage. All this she must submit or he must lead stuff when you're only dating is, to me, kind of a moot point, because it's like you're not even committed to the person you're dating. And even if you are committed to the person, you're still equal in the sight of God. So I don't necessarily think, hey, Keisha, that looking at one or the other as mutually exclusive to that sex. Keisha says, for me, as I have started following my purpose, I feel more feminine and good about myself and what I have to offer. Exactly, Keisha. So then it becomes, when we're dating, because I've been kind of studying this, and we're going to go more into detail next week, guys, but when we're dating, and I was looking at these six-figure men, I'm going to read you some facts about them. Because what we have to think about also as women is men could be thinking, you know, where do I fit in the dichotomy of the modern independent woman? She could pretty much do everything I could traditionally have offered, which is provision, leadership, ambition, power, all those things she can do now. So where do I fit in this puzzle when dating her? What helps me to feel masculine? What about her is going to help me to feel masculine? And what can I do to make her feel feminine? So that's kind of what we're talking about. So I'm just going to read these statistics off. These are all high income earning men. Mark Zuckerberg, I didn't put his worth down, but you know he's in the billions. His wife is a average lady. She's fit. It doesn't say she was necessarily rich or anything. I don't think she was. But he said that she was very supportive of his dreams and his visions. And Warren Buffett, which is one of the richest men in the world, he's at 70 billion. His wife, he's been married to for years. There's a 16 years age gap, but they're both up there in age. She was a waitress. Bill Gates, he's around 80 billion. Wife was an employee at Microsoft. She's an average lady. She's not a supermodel or anything. She's fit too, but she was an employee at Microsoft. Larry Page, now he's one of the founders of Google. He's like 30 billion plus. His wife, she pretty much stays out the public eye. You don't really know much about her. Amancio Ortega. He's the owner of Inditex, which is like the largest fashion entity. It's like he's worth $70 billion. His wife was his secretary. None of these women were like movers and shakers as far as what we consider, socially speaking, as ambitious, as successful. Even if they were educated, they're not necessarily using their degrees in any capacity as the wife of whoever. Their degrees was not part of the pedigree that the guy, Mark Zuckerberg or Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Larry Page, they did not mention that. What I did hear them mentioning is how supportive these women were, and how their dreams were similar, and how they support in their dreams. This is a theme that kept coming across every time I was researching these men of high income. Now, because I'm going to go flip it to the other side and go to the African American men who are earning six figures. Okay, we had the first quote at the beginning from Michael Bisden. If you guys didn't hear it, maybe I'll read it again after I get through giving you these facts. Now, Michael Bisden is worth $5 million plus. He might be up, so far. Steve Harvey, $110 million. His wife, he says his wife completes him and has supported him in every field of his life. Again, there's this theme of support. Tyler Perry, although he's not married, he's worth $800 million, but I believe he just got declared a billionaire, I want to say last month or the month before. He has a girlfriend that he has been with for 10 years. They just had a child. She is a model and an activist. She's she does a lot of activist work in Ethiopia. She's Ethiopian. Hey, Tasha. And again, he said, even though, they're not married yet or whatnot, that half his fortune is hers, period. So I go back to the question of what is considered feminine and what's considered masculine these days. What does it for us? Because as we see, there's this running, I'm going to read this quote by Michael Bisden one more time. Successful men aren't motivated by a woman's income, degrees, or by her success. What's important to them is her domestic skills, her figure, how sexually adventurous she is, and her availability. And furthermore, her willingness to accept a certain degree of philandering, which, whatever. For the professional woman who is busy, demands monogamy, and puts her family first, much respect is given to her, but she will rarely be the first choice of the men who she's most compatible with, intellectually or financially. So that sparked my whole questions about what is considered masculine and feminine in these days of dating. Is there an art to being feminine? Because as we said, women can do everything as far as financially, as far as being a provider. Intrinsically, these things that were even biblical. I even took this back to the Bible, guys, but I don't want to get all, I don't want to be on here all day. We'll talk more about it in the Facebook Live next week. But even within the Bible, men had means. I mean, not all of them, but the ones who were, the fathers were giving their daughters to these men. They had to have some type of money. The father was bringing a dowry with the woman, so the father had money. So, okay, what's considered masculine? Is being provider still considered masculine? Is paying for the dinner, is opening the door? What does it for you now? Because the lines are so blurred. You can do everything pretty much that he does, and at the same time, if you are looking at these high earning men, are you willing to be this supportive? I'm not going to say that these men, that they're like walking all over their women or anything. I'm not saying that they're quiet. These are just smart women. But they're, on average, like I said, we're talking about they were the employee, they were the secretary. They weren't, out here, you know, they weren't the most successful, is what I'm saying, by society standards. So when Michael says this, that successful men are motivated by a woman's income, degrees, or by her success, I tend to kind of see some truth in it, because I hear that coming from more than him. Now the rest of it, you know, we can kind of pull apart, because that, you know, that philandering stuff, he can go somewhere with that. But so to me, what I bring it back to is what makes a woman feminine to a man, and what makes a man masculine to a woman, when we're dealing with the whole dichotomy of the independent, career-driven woman. So then does it become that femininity becomes an art? Okay, Tasha, I'll probably be off when you get back. But, okay, does it mean that it becomes something that you have to study and be willing to maybe humble yourself about? Not to say that you have to be dependent and weak and all these other, or an airhead, because I didn't get that out of these men. I just kept seeing a lot of they're supportive, they're kind, but nothing about their accomplishments was not the motivating factor that had them to propose marriage to these women. So, ladies, I just kind of, well, and men too, I just kind of want to just put it out there. What is it? What is the art of being masculine? What is the art of being feminine? What does it for you, ladies? What does it when you're out here dating these men who, what makes them masculine to you when you can do all the things that he can do? And I know for me, I still feel very feminine. I like to be taken care of. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how successful I get. I still want to be taken care of, you know. And speaking of being taken care of, what exactly is a gold digger then? We're going to talk about all this next week. It's called The $1 Million Man and the Gold Digger. And it's not what you think it is, because sometimes I believe that gold digger has gotten this bad rep, when I think sometimes intrinsically that women are wired to be taken care of. Not that they cannot be successful. It has nothing to do with their success or what they build on their own or following their dreams or any of that. It has nothing to do with that, because I believe that's all God-given as well. But I think at the heart of a lot of women, we want to be taken care of, cherished. I believe, you know, no matter how successful I get, I would love to know that he can handle it by himself as far as financially. You know, now, does that make me less of a career-driven woman or independent woman or whatever? No, I want everything that God has for me. I'm going to follow my purposes. I'm going to do what he instructs me to do. I'm going to become rich. I'm going to do whatever God, because abundance, as you're following God, that's just an effect of following God. But at the same time, I don't want to lose the things that I consider to be feminine about myself. And I also don't want men to feel like they have to be, you know, morph into something else, because I'll tell you, I kind of had a problem sometimes with listening to, I had to check my spirit about listening to what sometimes they wanted, because it was like the independent part of me was like, well, they just want a doormat, or they just want somebody to get on board with their dreams and their vision and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. But that's not really what it's coming down to the more I'm studying. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that before you guys, because it's just an interesting dichotomy, I think, where we all fit in the world of dating. What's considered feminine, what's considered masculine, and still respectful to the other person, to the other sex. So that's what I was thinking about today, you guys. You can hit me in the comments to tell me what you feel about it. And there's no right or wrong answers, but we are going to dissect this next week with the millionaire, or no, the $1 million man and the gold digger. $1 million man, sugar daddy, gold digger. We're going to talk about it more next week. Again, I have a free ebook for you. You may download. It's for free. And hey, Terry, I'm about to go off now. You have to catch the replay. You can download the ebook for free. And also, you can book a consultation. I have my links up in the top part. But this is going to be an interesting conversation, Terry, for next week. I was just kind of throwing out some things about next week's Facebook Live about the role of the feminine and the role of the masculine and how the lines are blurred and how confused people could feel these days because traditionalism is out the door. And where does God fit into all of this? And how are we intrinsically wired? And how does that play a part in the success and the independence of the career, the independent woman? How does it all play a part? And is the feminine masculine thing now become an art, something to be studied, something to be to look at as independent of what you're doing in following your purpose and being career driven and all those things that God has called us to do. But now when we're interacting with one another on dates, what is that femininity? What sparks that femininity in a woman from the man, from the masculine energy? And what sparks that masculine energy from the man, from the femininity part? What does that look like now? Is it confusing to some? I don't know. You guys have to join me next Wednesday at 6:30. But anyway, I'm about to jump off. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good purpose-driven day and choose life and book your consultation. Bye.